Hi everyone, it's Jerry. I'm on chess.com and I'm going to play a standard game against the beast. Let's start with knight f3. It's been a while since I played against the Computer4-Impossible. So let's see how we can approach this. Okay, I think this'll be a good approach. Go at c4. And I'm going to hold off on declaring my light square bishop's intentions for just a bit. Not flinch with my center pawns just yet. And now what? Go with d4, g3. I don't want to weaken d4 by playing e4. I think I've played this against the computer before, where after d4, play knight f6 and bishop f5. I think I'm going to go for that. Form a pawn duo. Open his eyes. Surprising. An immediate strike at d4. Okay. I've had humans play against had humans play this very move against me. But first time I'm seeing this by the computer. So black is prepared to go uncastled. I could take and then take the queen. On this capture, they're not going to be taking with the bishop, but rather the pawn. I don't think there's a way to really take advantage of the uncastled king position. He'll find comfort on c7, c6, king c7. So I guess what we really are looking at now is some King's Indian defense structure. I don't know if I want to play e3, e4, or d5. I'm leaning more towards d5 and then e4. Okay, let's go with this. King's Indian defense, which is maybe not a bad thing, especially against the computer. Playing with some space. Okay, well, let's make sure that I don't have to worry about black playing e4. And probably bishop to e2 here, yeah. Bishop e2. Okay. Probably castle. Can't do without that. Yeah, black is playing like a human. Guess this is still so far so book. I'm leaning towards immediately repositioning my knight. Let's try this. I like the idea of stopping knight h5 into f4. And also, I'm prepared to challenge a knight on the b4 c5 squares with knight d3. And I don't think that there's a good reason for me not to immediately run in for knight d3. However, maybe there is. It does, a knight on d3 would mask my queen's view of d6, so knight d3, I wonder if this is an opportunity for black to try to chip away at the d5 point, or at least open up the queenside some with c6. Comparing these two, bishop e3, knight d3, bishop e3 won't allow c6 in the recapture with the pawn, because I would win on d6. But should I really be fearing c6? I think I'm fine with that. Let's just run straight in for knight d3, bishop e3. Okay. Well, I'm pretty sure this is a positional mistake, a3, because of knight takes knight and then a4 locking down on any attempt by me to expand on the queenside. So if I really want to expand on the queenside, I'd have to baby step it with first B3A3. But it probably makes a bit more sense to get another developing move in. So let's do that. One of the benefits of having my knight on D3 instead of F3 is that I don't have to watch out for knight G4. Having said that, I guess after I recapture, black can jump their knight in here. But maybe I'm okay with that. Let's develop a new piece. And I may be alright with giving up my light square bishop. He is the bad bishop. Certainly don't want to give this guy up, so give up him. I have good harmony with my resulting structure and bishop. Okay, I think it's still pretty evenish. Take here. Yeah, let's do it. And, you know, this idea of expanding on the queenside, I might not even have to involve my A or B pawns. Can I not just play C5 right away? A move that may seem a bit counterintuitive because I'm opening up the position when it's my opponent who has the bishop pair. However, this is the correct approach. I'm really never wanting to play F4 here. Just opens up the bishop. So I'm leaning towards playing on the side of the board where I have space, and that is the queen side, indicated by this pawn being positioned on black side of the board, on the queen side. Another thing, I could play F3, but I'd really like to first see black play F5 before I do this, and then it's a little bit awkward for the bishop. He'd have to go to H5, or there'd have to be some immediate resolution to this tension in the center. F5, F3, there'd have to be a capture or a push, or the bishop would have to post up here, which I don't think is ideal. I think it would much rather be on D7. So let's go straight in for this. I like that I have the B5 square for my knight. I'm guessing I have to take right away. I don't think I can maintain the tension. So let's do it. Get the C file opened up. And now which rook to the C file? None of the above? Can I take over control of the C file by posting my knight on B6? By controlling this pivot square, I may be able to eventually double up and get into C7. This is an interesting moment. Forget about which rook to play here. Knight A3, knight A4 into B6 is interesting. This is a base point. It's nice to have some pressure on it with a knight. I wouldn't mind seeing a knight for light square bishop exchange, as then I could look towards a good versus bad bishop situation. I really don't fear some F4 pawn, a black pawn on F4, with so much material exchange and there already being play on the queen side, some open C file. Shouldn't be a problem. I don't think I'm going to be getting mated. Some attack against my king. Is this too long-winded, though? Knight A4 into B6, that's the other thing to question. Take some time. Let's give it a shot. See what the computer does. There is that as an in-betweener. This should still be alright. I think my queen is in a fine spot. Okay. My knight now feels out of play. After all that, he feels out of play. Because there is this open F file to work with. It's not just me being able to double up and get into the 7th rank. Well, with this last move, there is this idea now. Well, how about knight b6 still into c4? Let's try that. I don't think I'm missing anything around here. Okay. Where's this bishop going? Could take him out if he goes to any of these. If I go queen d2 stopping bishop h6, there's probably bishop h5 striking at this pawn. Can I go pawn hunting? Bishop d2 and takes a5. I don't know about that. Bishop here, bishop h6 into f4. Probably just have to take him out anyway. I want a queen trade. Actually, queen d2 is threatening a skewer. Maybe I do like that. Let's try it. Also hitting the pawn. Aha, some success. I don't have to worry about a dark square bishop exchange. Can I play rook d2? Or, yeah, rook f2. Rook takes, queen takes, offer a queen exchange. Kind of like that idea. Let's try this. I wouldn't mind seeing the queens come off. Figured you would do that. Throwing a punch at e4. Fine, gotta defend. I maybe could have grabbed on a5. I'm sure Stockfish after the game will be saying, "What's the matter with you? Why not take that pawn?" Oh, man. I'm scared now. Didn't see this idea. That light square bishop is on his way to target e4. I'm in trouble. Now I want my knight here, supported by a pawn. Oh, wow. Do I have to drop my knight back to play to d2? I might need to go for that. I have to secure my e4 point. He can't fall. There's no way. Cannot allow that. I should still be alright. Should is the key word. Should. I have these squares covered well enough. I'm going to exchange this rook. No. Get him working. You goof. He wasn't doing anything. Now we're going to take. And I can't get too... Oh, queen is defending that. Simplifying quite a bit. As usual, the computer will only spend a couple seconds on every move. Opposite, or not opposite color bishops. Playing against two bishops in an ending. Kind of want to have the queens off the board. Well, don't have many options there. I can't play queen here. Queen takes and then I drop e4. I don't want to allow queen c1. I don't think I have time for some fancy knight maneuver into f5. Or do I? Knight f1 controls c1 with the bishop. I have enough control with the queen and dark square bishop to fend off the queen entry. I don't have to worry about the bishop for the moment. My concern, however, on knight f1 is queen g4. No, that shouldn't be too much of a concern. I could play into g3, bishop f2 to defend the knight, and then play h3. I'm going to try for this. I want to get my knight to this weak point, this hole on f5. So I guess preparing queen here. Knight g3 right away. h3, g4, knight g3 into f5. Queen c4? I think I want to be prepared to jump in here right away. I don't have the time for this. No, I probably, you know what? Let's see, h3. I'm still gonna try for it. Yeah. Trade. Now I gotta play knight d2 or knight g3, so I don't have time for g4, but be able to get here and then play g4. If I go in here right now, takes, and then this idea of push, and he's a target, I should probably get my king working some. I don't think there's any... Oh, wait. Are they threatening this move? No, my king will be there in time. Minute 20. I think I need to jump in now because otherwise king f6 and then this is defended h5, h4, and I'm in some trouble. I'm going to jump in. This gives them a passed pawn, a connected passed pawn if they take. But at the same time, I have a passed pawn. Okay. King f3 to e4? I think I should be able to win this. I have a connected passed pawn as too, you might as well see it. I could play g4. I'm going to drop this pawn. Actually, what's wrong with first playing bishop c1? Defend against this push, and then the capture here. Yeah, let's do that. If they push the pawn, I could play my bishop into e3 and then e4. I win. Oh my goodness. Can't believe I just allowed that. I should have played king f3. Now push and then king here is going to happen. Do I have to play this? I may. King here, I have bishop c3. Might have a repetition. I don't want that though. Don't have much time. I'm going to go for the win here. No, yeah, I have to do this. Bishop to d4. I miscalculated. I'm losing my bishop. I'm losing my bishop. I'm going to try to hold this. It's not holdable. Oh, man. I should just play king f3. Yeah, I'm just floundering now. I don't have anything. I should resign at this point. How's the bishop stopping my pawn? Oh, like that. Just in time. Okay, now's a good point to resign. Oh, man. I guess I should have just played king f3 instead of bishop to c1. Oh, I was so close, at least to holding a draw. You see, I didn't see this idea of king here, push, and then the threat to jump in here. King can't go there. I'm pretty sure I have a draw at this point with just returning my bishop. No, that's not clear either. Because on bishop c1 in this position, there's a bishop check, and I'm not even able to get in a position to attack the pawn. Okay, I think then, at this point here, I should be playing king f3. e4, I think, is needed. Takes, and at least I'm not losing my bishop. And I'm the one who's playing for a win here. I don't know if it's a win, but I have all my pawns on light. There is a potential target for my bishop here, these guys, and I have a connected passed pawn. And I've seen the computer many times mess up these type of endings where they have the bad bishop versus a good knight, or bad bishop versus good bishop. Okay, so bishop c1 was played here. g4, he's entering now. If I go king e3, there's king e5. Huh. And I'm losing that pawn. I needed to play king f3 here instead of the bishop backing up. I wanted to have this happen. I know this is a nothing move, but I wanted to establish this king right here first, and then it buys me some time to do some other stuff like g4, like bishop d2, and then bishop c3, and then maybe go somewhere else with my king. Like approach over here, get to c2, and then play b3. I don't know. Maybe in the end it's still objectively a draw. But, yeah, bishop c1, I guess no good here. I think how the game was played, it's fine. I don't think there's too much to really look at with the computer. Just had a King's Indian defense. Yeah, I don't know. I think I'm fine with how I played it. Knight a4 was a bit... I mean, what was his journey? He went into b6, c4, d2. Yeah, I didn't really anticipate. I just really didn't see this idea of the bishop rerouting to target e4. So I needed to devote 2 pieces to defending here. I held off on that, and we got into this ending. I didn't point it out, but if I'm preventing this queen c4 idea, there is also, like, instead of h3, if I'm playing b3, there's also b4, and then this idea of queen here, offering a queen exchange. One of the differences, however, is that that's a pawn that could be tracked down. Compare that with what they ended up having, which was a c pawn. Could I have really hunted that pawn down? Never really looked at that. King over, I jumped right in. Yeah, as mentioned, I think I do have to jump in, as otherwise king f6, h5, h4, and what am I doing about e4? So I jump in now, they take. Yeah, and I'm not going to be there in time. I'd need to access c3 to get the pawn, but there's always this e4 move. Tough one. I'm going to do a quick scan with Stockfish, so just give me a moment and we'll see where there's any good changes we can make with this one. Okay, let's just do a quick check here, running with Stockfish 7 to see where there's an improvement. It's suggesting this stuff, but I really don't see how exactly to follow up. Yeah, don't really see that. So I'm just playing with some space. King's Indian defense, holding as a half pawn advantage. Important moment. I referenced this as a positional mistake, a3, because of this. It's not suggesting it, but I believe it's a good move. This a4 move, clamping down 1 pawn, restricting 2. How do I ever get c5 break in? I don't know. So instead, bishop e3, g4. Yep. And it likes knight a4. Okay. Still even. Knight b6 is still fine. It's liking me close to a pawn advantage. I wanted to take here, but isn't it better just to play rook c1? No, I play queen d2 first. I think this is some success. So as mentioned, it doesn't give black now the option to get rid of their dark square bishop. Played rook f2. This is what I was hoping for. An ending, like, I guess take with the king, yeah. And then I get to enter the 7th, or at least threaten to get there, and he kind of struggles. The bishop struggles some, especially now that, you know, some work would be needed to defend the pawn before he goes elsewhere. but I couldn't quite manage having the queens off and maintaining a rook on board. So right here, let's have a look just at this move. I played rook f2, but it's suggesting to first capture. And then, well, I would have expected the rook to capture. Let's go with knight c4. Oh, probably this idea to pick up the pawn at some point, huh? Queen e7, h3, bishop d7, and now we go pawn grabbing. Oh. By putting pressure on this pawn, and then we could take here. Suppose the rook defends this pawn. Bishop b6. And it's reading close to +2. Queen c2? What's the point of queen c2? I don't get it. Looking at queen a4? Maybe. Yeah, I really didn't... I guess I was distracted some by seeing the pressure on my e4 pawn that I didn't think to immediately keep pressure on d6. Yeah, it really didn't enter my mind there, but I guess that was an idea. Now I have to defend some on e4. Yeah, now it's just even game. Was there anything missed in this end game? Doesn't like the queen trade. But is this really enough? I went into g3, knight d2. Ah, that is another approach. Knight d2, with then king f2 to f3, and then grab the c4 pawn. Would it really be that easy? Huh. a4. Suppose king here. Now it's suggesting a3. Oh, no, black plays a3. And I have to worry about this move? Okay. It's still saying an advantage for me, but let's just take a timeout to meet a4 with a3. Bishop h5. Giving up a pawn. Yeah, suppose black just enters. We improve the king. Could play here. A little role reversal. And then scoop up the c4 pawn. I was too fixated maybe on hopping into a weak point in black's position on f5 instead of A, defending the pawn, and B, exerting pressure on this weak point c4. Which really at the time, I didn't really see it as a weak point, but it is something that's going to require the support of a piece if it's attacked, and it could be attacked. I went in this direction, g3. Anything else missed in this ending? Bishop c1, g4, bishop d2. Oh my goodness, I'm winning. Oh, you idiot. Bishop c3. Now I'm losing with that move. Oh my goodness. All I had to do was play bishop c3. Oh, that's awful. And so easy. Awful and so easy. Oh, man. They don't have a connected pass pawn as soon as this guy is pushed. So, bring on the king and pawn ending. That should have been immediately running through my mind. As soon as this move is played, it should have been, aha. Should we get into a king and pawn ending, this guy right here wins. Oh my goodness, this is clear. So clear. And just like that, it's a loss. This 38th move. Bishop c3, game over. What do you do? Take? My king is just entering. Boom. King e5, I could push. Because when he drops, c4 is going to drop soon. You get that pawn, I get this guy, and soon the c4 pawn. Oh, that's a tough one to stomach. Bishop c3. And that's it. King e3, and I'm cooked. Wow, I had my chance. Clearly. Okay, well, tough one to stomach. If I had to do it over again, I think I would revisit this opening. I think it's alright. Yeah. I get to play on the queenside. I guess this knight reposition was fine. I can also look into knight c4 sooner to put immediate pressure on d6 instead of the rook f2 move. And yeah, clearly it's not unbeatable. We know this, but yeah, it can misplay these endings, and we saw a huge shift there. Because right around here, it's not a win. So actually, the other thing to question is what would be the drawing idea. Computer's playing king f6. And this is where I started to get a bit nervous because I saw, oh, the king's going to get into this position, but just bishop on c3 and you're golden. So what is the draw? I guess is the last question to really ask. What can black do to hold a draw? It suggests bishop f6, king f3, bishop d8, bishop d2. So not being too quick to move this guy, maintaining this connected pass pawn. King f6, g4 is in. Yeah. Bishop e3, and then come around in this direction. Wonder how much further out it's going to take it. This king can't go too far. One of these two pieces has to watch out for this guy. That's why this is such an asset. It restricts one of the enemy pieces. No pawns around to stop him. He could be unleashed at any moment. I'm not sure the point of bishop g1, so let me start making moves that, I don't know. I'd probably do something like this. King d1, let's just make some passing moves, king c2. Let's hold the king position right here. Suppose a bishop move. Now I get to do this and then king here. So I think black needs to be prepared to meet bishop d2. Bishop d2 with bishop here. That way on king c3, there's bishop d4, but even so, this is winning because of this. King b5, king c6. I could transfer my attention. I was going to go in this direction, but my king could enter. He can make progress on the queen side, is the short story. I didn't make the absolute best moves. What are they suggesting? King e7. Suppose bishop d2. What should black play? Bishop b6. And on king c3, the bishop revisits here. Okay, I'm seeing why the king is better on e7. It's to not allow these bishop moves with tempo against d6. Black isn't necessarily having to react against a threat against d6 down the line. Bishop b4, bishop d4, stopping my king from entering. It's a bit tricky, but clearly we see that it's white who's trying to press here. On the queen side, black has to be quite accurate. Even Zugzwang type positions like this one, if the king moves over, maybe I start pushing. Suggesting a push here. Wow. Getting a little bit more complicated here, but had my chances, clearly. Bishop c3. Bring on the king and pawn ending. I have this guy around. Okay, tough one. As usual, feel free to leave any feedback to this video in the comment section below. And as always, I hope you got something out of it. That's all for now. Take care. Bye.